It's the Solid Signal podcast for the week of March 23rd, 2015, and the subject this week is good government, bad government. You know, I try to stay out of politics with the Solid Signal podcast because the truth of the matter is that we're not here to judge and we're not here to take sides. What we are here to do is to offer you the best possible stuff at great rates at solidsignal.com and to occasionally entertain you and educate you. I felt like this week, though, I wanted to stretch a little bit further and talk about what we do get with the FCC, what the FCC does for us, and why getting rid of the FCC would be a completely bad idea. The FCC comes under fire a lot because they tend to not do the things that we wish they would do, and they certainly don't do them on any sort of timely basis. A lot of times we wish they would intervene in disputes between content providers and pay TV companies that cause us blackouts. We wish that they would stop sports networks from imposing blackout rules, which, in case you didn't hear, the NFL is dropping its blackout rule for this season, so that's at least one league that has finally come to its senses. But yet sometimes we're glad the FCC does exist, at least when we find that we can use the same radio pretty much anywhere in the country, where we can make a cell phone call using the same phone almost anywhere in the country. We're glad that the FCC is there to smooth the path for us. Here's a specific case where the FCC is good and the FCC is bad. They giveth and they taketh away. I recently had a customer contact Solid Signal asking if they could use a cell booster for a 30-acre ranch. Now, they're the only ones who are on it, and they just wanted cell service. The sad thing is there is no cell booster that will cover that size. A cell booster that would cover that size would actually just be a cell tower, and a cell tower is something controlled tightly by the FCC. This means that an average person just wouldn't be able to get one. The licenses involved and the time it would take, the cost it would take would just make it impossible. And of course, they would also be responsible for a lot of electricity used to try to cover that 30-acre space. Here, it sounds like the FCC are the bad guys, but the truth is that if we just let anybody put up cell towers and anything that would cover 30 whole acres, regardless of whether it was in the middle of nowhere, it would be chaos and it would take down the entire cell system that we do all so enjoy. So here the FCC are the good guys. I'm sure that one customer didn't think so, but for the rest of us who can see the big picture, definitely the good guys. And then you see there are cases where the FCC, well, they mean well and they don't always execute. Last year the FCC put in all new rules, which were good ideas for cell boosters, again, where you had to have certain new approvals, which is why all of our manufacturer partners had to go through all new approval processes. And now you can only buy a consumer level cell booster as a kit that includes everything that you would need. That is a good thing. What is a bad thing is that they dragged their feet on it for too long and they eliminated certain things that they shouldn't have eliminated. And for about a month and a half, it was pretty bumpy going. That's an example of good government and bad government at the same time. And then there are some things that are, of course, still up in the air. The FCC has spent a year crafting new net neutrality standards, which are certainly better than the old ones that were struck down in 2010 because those ones weren't legal, and better than the proposed ones that came out last year. But will they be good enough to ensure that our internet remains fair and open and that the companies that provide it have a reasonably safe shot at making honest money, not raking us over the coals, but making honest money, which is, I think, part of what makes our country great, the ability to make honest money by offering honest services, just like we do at solidsignal.com. You see how I turned that into a little advertisement for solidsignal.com. But what I wanted to say really is that we won't know for quite some time if the FCC was good here or bad here. There definitely were some ways it could have been better, and all we can hope is that when all of the dust settles, it's going to look as good as possible for as many people as possible. Now, personally, Here's a case where it's not necessarily the FCC, but other parts of the government that might want to intervene. I talk a lot about the city of Los Angeles, which has offered substantial tax breaks to the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and yet allowed that organization to license the rights to games to Time Warner Cable, which proceeded to want to charge way too much to nice, honest companies like DirecTV and Dish for coverage. We're talking about $5 to $8 per subscriber per month. That's billions of dollars in Time Warner's pocket, and billions of dollars, by the way, coming out of your pocket. Here I wish the government would intervene, at least to the extent that they're protecting the taxpayers who do pay for police coverage and fire coverage and extra road work and all that stuff that is necessary to support the Dodgers, and yet the people of LA, at least 2/3 of them, cannot watch Dodgers home broadcasts. It's a sad thing. So, my friends, I guess what I'm trying to say is that government is a mixed bag. Government needs to be watched just as government needs to watch us sometimes. We can't lay back and just assume government always has our best interests at heart, nor can we assume that they don't. Be smart, be vigilant, and I will talk to you next time on the Solid Signal Podcast.